Hi, Thumos. Welcome back, guys. You ever see what they're doing to our boy Spider-Man, little Spidey boy? He's his senses are tingling, but they ain't really tingling the right places. Okay, Spider-Man is literally the story about a horny teenager jerking off in his room, freaking spider webs all over his room. Okay, where am I going with this? Let's just take a look at Tobey Maguire. First and foremost, was the greatest Spider-Man. He was kind of annoying, but he had a good transformation. They showed you his arc where he became freaking powerful. Then you go to this Andrew dude, and then whatever his name is, something Holland, and they become progressively more weak. The emphasis of the story isn't about this heroic journey of going from a weakling to being strong, to gaining muscle, to taking care of yourself. He freaking, just started looking better, became more handsome, took up responsibility. With great power comes what? Great responsibility. Now the Spider-Man is not motivated. Who's this Spider-Man for? It's not for me. Okay? And they're doing this with a lot of these superheroes. Think of Thor. Thor's got this gut. You're going to give one of the most famous freaking the Norse mythological gods. You're going to give him a gut, dude? You can't do that to our boy Thor. Fill him with estrogen. You're going to give the Hulk, you're going to make the Hulk a weakling, feminize the Hulk. Come on, man. This is not right. Who's doing this? I don't know. But let me tell you, something's going on. And when a young man sees this, because young boys especially are attracted to superheroes, what it does is it gives them this idea. How can I bounce back the heroic in me off of these weak ass heroes? How can I learn more about myself and be filled with Thumos by seeing weak heroes that do not encapsulate the heroic spirit and identity of man? All right? They have sort of perverted the primordial, heroic, just masculine spirit, and they're showing something that we cannot really relate to. So there's a lot of this stuff going on, but I think it takes up the thought form inside of a young man, and it doesn't allow him to feel this heroic epicness. All right, so that's just something I've been thinking about. But why else is there this push for freaking psychedelics? Okay, everyone and their mama's doing freaking psychedelics, taking some fungi, throwing it down, just thinking that they see God. Dude, it's a freaking drug. You ain't seeing nothing. Okay? Psychedelics, Joe Rogan's talking about it. People smoking weed becoming legal in every freaking state. Everyone wants to smoke and get high and do tabs and do acid and do shrooms. It's like, why is there a prevalent push for this thing? Open your mind too much, everything falls out. Here's what I think. When you open your mind too much, you take away the palisades. You take away a perimeter, a guarding fortress. You let the castle doors open. Some sort of influence, let's call it demonic influence, comes into the castle, comes into the mind, makes it home there, a spirit, and it corrupts. Now, when I say demonic forces, this is what I mean. If you let too much into your brain, too many ideas, complexity, convoluted ideas come into the mind, what happens is eventually they can gain momentum. And when they pick up momentum, they can make you do weird stuff. I mean, we have known tyrants of history that have been corrupted by these demonic forces, by too many thoughts and ideas that have been allowed to run astray, and they've done terrible atrocities, atrocities in freaking the world. Now, I don't think the average guy is going to do terrible things, okay? What I do think, though, is the average man can very easily lose hope, he can lose ambition, and he can lose the ability to keep his mind on things that are higher and to aim at something higher. He loses the idea of being a human. And being a human means that you are connected with humanity and that you don't get to only look out for yourself. I think opening too much of your mind gives you more of a myopic sort of view of life because it sets you alone on this sea, floating, weightless, and you kind of forget that you are connected to the world and that you need to be almost righteous within that world. And you need to take up space and have dominion and sovereignty and be a force of good. And so we see this corruption of the mental spirit, the thought form, the lack of heroic ability, the lack of the heroic, the ideal. And then what happens? We have this desire for freedom. This men crave freedom. They have this idea that they want to be free. They don't want to be caged to the 9 to 5. They don't want to work. They want to be YouTubers and Twitch streamers and entrepreneurs. And we're realizing that we're not all going to do it. All right. And so a lot of guys, they want this, but I'm telling you, freedom is a two-sided coin. Freedom is not what you think it is. Too much freedom, you don't know what to do. That's why there's this idea of travel, excessive travel. People want to travel. Oh, I'm going to find myself. Dude, you ain't going to find nothing. You're going to have to come back home. You're going to be a little more broke. You know, travel used to be about conquest. You weren't just going. Alexander the Great wasn't just going to India to, you know, check out their freaking women. It was conquest, baby. There was a reason. People put way too much emphasis on freedom. What are you going to do with all this freedom, all this free time? You know, what are you going to do with it? What are you looking for? And I think that this desire, we've seen it touted, not just traveling, but this lifestyle. Think about this lifestyle that's touted, the luxuries, immense wealth, multiple women, extravagant cars, the best food, doing all these crazy extracurricular activities. Where does that lead you? All this freedom, where does it leave you? Experience is great. But is this really the life that you as a man, that every man needs to experience to be happy, to find meaning in his life? And I don't think so. And I think that a lot of young guys are being confused because there has been this idea pushed that the simple life is not the life for you. The bare necessities is not the life for you. I think that once you look towards the bare necessities, that's what you need. The bare necessities of life will come to you. Okay? Serious, dude. How freaking simple this is. I find this really motivating. That the bare necessities is all you need. I think that if you can conquer yourself as a man against nature, to weather the storms, really like an actual storm, if you have shelter, you're doing pretty good. You can have a fire and cook and food and care for, protect people around you and have loved ones around you, companions in this life, you're going to be happy. You're going to, think about that, dude. Think about the very first freaking man that, didn't have to stay outside in the rain and get struck down by lightning and eaten by a freaking saber-tooth, right? Or trampled by an elephant. Think about how happy he was. He was like, thank God. I got my loved one here. I got my wife, my sweet wife. I got my baby. Oh my God, this is amazing. Thank you, God. My life has meaning. Tomorrow I'm going to get up. I'm going to sharpen my freaking arrows. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to slaughter a freaking deer. I'm going to bring it back. We're going to make a deer stew. It's going to be amazing. That was meaningful. That right there, that would light you up. You got no time to be depressed. You're thankful. Let's get up and at it. Let's get involved. Okay? And a lot of times I think we're corrupting that. We're making it too confusing. The simple life. Having space. What do you want as a man? You want space. You want your own, you want to be able to walk out into a yard, you want some shelter, you want a house maybe for yourself. This is what the American dream was. I know it's becoming harder to achieve the American dream, but this is what the American dream was, to be able to have your own space, your own little plot of land, your own little piece in this earth, to build your empire, to have your own dominion over this, to be able to have a loving woman that you trust, that would make a good mother for your children, to have offspring, these beings that you're raising up. You're being a leader in their life. You're raising them up righteously to be able to be strong and competent and treat others well and help other people and impact the world. And that was all part of your hand, your creation. And that's going to make you happy. That's going to give your life meaning. Why do we corrupt this? Why do we pollute it? It's simple. Have space. Fall in love. Even the red pill stuff, like, the manosphere stuff, I think it went off track too much. You got too concerned with the woman. Just, you want to have a loving woman that loves you, dude. Okay? And now there's so much of these things like women nature and this and that, and hey, women, fuck all that, dude. Become a man that's better than all that, rises above all that. You have some babies. You have work that you enjoy doing, that you feel is honest work. Work that provides for you, that gives you the resources to keep up with the kingdom. I think you want to be involved in your community, because to be a part of a tribe gives you identity. It gives you identity. It gives you what you got to do in your tribe. You got your role. But now we're segmented. We're isolated. Don't even know our neighbors' names. Cooped up. Don't really have a role to play. So what happens? We start LARPing. So many freaking LARPers out here, man. These tactical LARPers buying guns up. They don't ever shoot their gun. Buying the tactical camo gear, Black Rifle Coffee, LARPing. People LARPing like they, dyeing their hair, LARPing as, just think about all the ways you can LARP. There's a ton of LARPers. Okay, I'm not going to, that's a separate video because I got to think about more LARPing. But you know a LARPer when you see him. And lack of identity, lack of role to play, lack of a fatherly leadership role to play. So to have a community, to be integrated with that community, that tribe, to feel like you are part of something. And everyone wants to be a part of something. Everyone wants to be a part of something, whether that's an online group, whether that's a religious group, whether that's your gaming group, your Fortnite buddies, your WoW bros, your RuneScape, whatever it is, Diablo friends. Everyone wants to be a part of a group. Even the guys at the dojo, we all are looking for a community. And when we don't have that, you're going to pay a freaking price. So space, your own land, maybe even the ability to manipulate the land to grow some food, right? To be able to grow some food, to do what you want with your space, to spread out. What a life. That would make you happy. And it's simple. It's not easy to get there. It may take years. Figuring out how you're going to make the money, making the connections necessary, getting competent at something, doing something that's worthwhile. May take years to get there. It's not easy, but it's simple. It's an easy target to envision, to keep in your mind. And in my mind, that is good. That is something worth aiming at. Now imagine the structural support that will provide for you as a man, attaining these things. Whatever challenges that come up in the future, whatever problems there is to solve, you have a strong support structure. The house is built on a solid foundation, not sand. Where as soon as some fear comes in, some problem comes in, it crumbles and you crumble. But no, you have people that love you, that you care about, support you. You have something there in place, a community. You're going to get through this, man. And lastly, what comes to mind is the idea that you have a relationship with God, your own personal relationship with God. When I pray, this is how I pray. I say, God, your will be done in my life. Use me as your instrument. Use me for what you want me to do. That's what I ask. I'm not asking, can I have this? And I'm not telling you how to pray. This is how I pray. Your will be done in my life. I don't know what This whole thing is, I don't have control over everything. Your will be done in my life. And I've noticed that with this mindset, you can call it stoic, call it faith. With this mindset, I'm able to not succumb to fear. And fear doesn't really permeate my life, my mind, without me having a rein on it, be able to file it in its appropriate place. Your will be done in my life. So to have your own space, to have family, to have loved ones, to have community, to have God, to have ambition, but all, purpose, something that you a vision for your future, and you're going there with people that you love and care about, that you're supporting. You're becoming strong. You're becoming strong, and you're living healthy, and you're being impactful, and you're being able to be strong for others and not just for yourself. I think this is a simple target that we can keep in our mind. Every man has the ability, the potential to get here. Every single one of you has the potential to get here. If you're watching this right now, you have that potential. And I think your life is going to be incredibly fulfilled once you begin to see these things come to fruition. It's going to motivate you. It's going to give you something motivating to cling to think more about the people instead of yourself, to think more about the future than the present and the pleasures of the present. It's going to give you something to strive for. It's going to keep you on that straight and narrow path. Keep your mind on things we're thinking of and not things below. And so God's will be done in our life. Hi, Thumos brothers. I hope to talk to you soon. Come join us in the Brotherhood. If you have any questions, leave it down below. The bare necessities. Peace.